Hey everyone! Have you ever come home from an incredible wildlife sighting only to realize your photos aren't actually as sharp as they looked on the screen of your camera once you're viewing them on your computer while editing? Today, I'm going to share with you the 5 most common reasons wildlife photographs lose sharpness, and more importantly, how to fix each one in the field before the moment is gone. Stick around until the end because the final mistake is the one I see even experienced and pro photographers make all the time. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with your shutter speed. Okay, let's fix your blurry wildlife photos. The first and probably most common reason for blurry wildlife images is simple. Your shutter speed was too slow. Now, the tricky part with wildlife photography is that animals rarely stay still. Even when they look still, there's often subtle movement happening, but more importantly, your own movement tends to be over-exaggerated by the long focal length that is often needed to get close to wildlife in nature. Motion blur happens when any movement occurs while your shutter is still open. And the difficult part is that slight motion blur often looks acceptable on the tiny LCD screen behind your camera. But once you zoom in later on your computer, suddenly the image feels soft. The easiest way to recognize motion blur is by looking for double outlines or ghosting, or softness specifically in moving body parts. For example, wingtips on birds, splashing water, trunks swinging, or paws during movement. As a rough guideline for you, stationary portraits aim for at least double your focal length. Yes, despite the amazing image stabilization of mirrorless cameras, you will not regret it. Walking animals around 1/1600 of a second, splashing water or running animals around 2000 of a second, and birds in flight often 2500 or faster. Of course, there are exceptions, especially when you run out of light, but these numbers are a great starting point. And remember, sharpness usually matters much more than low ISOs in wildlife photography. I would rather have a slightly noisy but sharp image than a perfectly clean but blurry one. The second issue is out of focus blur. And this is where many photographers get frustrated because technically the image looks sharp somewhere, just not where you wanted it. Usually we want the eyes of the animal to be sharp, but sometimes the shoulder is sharper, the grass by the animal is sharper, or the focus grabbed the background entirely. There are 4 things that help massively here. Number 1, I'm old-fashioned and believe in always having a single focus point available. Together with a truly reliable animal eye autofocus. If your camera doesn't have excellent subject tracking, don't let the camera choose focus for you. Wildlife scenes are often too chaotic no matter what you think. The AI animal eye tracking can fail. Number 2, use continuous autofocus. For Canon users, that's AI Servo. For Nikon, Sony, or Olympus, that's AF continuous. Animals move constantly, and if you use single autofocus or one shot, your subject can walk out of focus within a split second. Number 3, increase your depth of field when photographing action. A lot of photographers shoot wide open all the time. But when animals are interacting or moving unpredictably, I often choose f7.1 to f10, simply because it gives me more room for error. It's basically insurance for wildlife action photography. Number 4, wait for focus confirmation. Sometimes we panic and shoot before the lens has fully locked focus. Especially in low light, your camera may simply just need a fraction longer. Before we move on, guys, if you're enjoying this video and you would like to join our growing community of wildlife photography enthusiasts, why not sign up for our world famous Friday Focus newsletter? Each week, we send out an email full of photo tips, gear advice, travel recommendations, and content created for wildlife photographers. There's a link in the description to sign up, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. Your ISO is destroying detail. Now, before anyone attacks me in the comments, high ISOs itself are not evil. Modern cameras handle ISO incredibly well, and I shoot far past 10,000 ISO when the action gets going during dusk and dawn. The real problem is, what happens when there simply isn't enough light? As light disappears, your contrast drops, noise increases, and fine feather or fur detail starts disappearing. The image begins to look muddy or fuzzy instead of crisp. One of the biggest mistakes photographers make is underexposing because they're scared of raising their ISO. But noise loves dark areas. So in wildlife photography, it is often better to shoot a slightly brighter image at a higher ISO than a darker image at a lower ISO. If you don't believe me, check out my video on noise that explains this in all detail. Here are some quick tips if this also happens to you in the field. Use a lower megapixel camera, guys, if available, as they tend to do much better in low light. Open your aperture up. Reduce your shutter speed slightly, or as needed. And most importantly, expose properly. Meaning bright enough that you don't create areas that you have to brighten in post-production. This technique might look washed out initially with lack of contrast, but will end up with a higher quality and sharper image on your big screen. And if conditions are truly terrible, sometimes you simply have to accept that the light is no longer good enough for a technically perfect image. Wildlife photography requires light. There is no magic setting around that. You cropped too much. This one hurts because we've all done it. You photograph a distant predator or a shy bird, crop aggressively later, and suddenly the image looks soft, pixelated, and lacking detail. That's because sharpness is also about the amount of information that you have. When you crop heavily, you're stretching the remaining pixels further and further. Eventually, the image simply doesn't contain enough details anymore. There are a few ways to improve on this. Simply get closer, but please do it ethically. Or use a longer focal length. Use a higher megapixel camera body in this instance with more data. Or simply allow for more space in your composition around the subject during the shooting, as I'm a huge fan of providing wildlife with big open spaces anyway. Because once the information is gone, there's only so much that editing softwares can realistically recover. As I promised, we have one more tip to go, but before I reveal this one, please, can you do me one favor and take a moment to subscribe to this channel? Give us a like and make a comment. This really helps us to reach more people here on YouTube. Thank you so much. In many cases, we simply rely too much on AI to fix bad images. AI sharpening tools today are honestly incredible. Programs like Topaz Photo AI, the new AI tools in Adobe Lightroom Classic and Photoshop, the magical denoise of DxO and others can absolutely improve an image. But there's a huge misunderstanding about the limitation of these programs and what can be done in post-production. AI can enhance an image that was almost successful with a great and healthy set of data. You need either good light or great exposure or perfect focus, but you cannot be lacking all of it. The current AI programs cannot magically create a perfect image from a file that lacks accurate data and suddenly make it look natural at the same time. If your image is either severely motion blurred, massively out of focus, cropped beyond reason, and maybe noisy in addition, AI will often create strange textures, fake detail, or artifacts. The better your original image is, the better these tools work, and a good understanding of your downfalls within the image, which type of blur you're dealing with, allows you to choose the right post-production tool to try and improve on it. So, to quickly recap, the 5 biggest reasons your wildlife photographs aren't sharp are: your shutter speed was too slow, your focus wasn't accurate, your ISO and low exposure reduced detail, you cropped too aggressively, or you relied too heavily on AI to rescue the image. The good news is that every single one of these issues can be improved once you learn to recognize them. If this video helped you, please give it a like, subscribe to Pangolin Wildlife Photography, and let me know in the comments which one of these mistakes affects your photography the most. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.